Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk now. Stellar Lumens and XRP made investor place a shortlist for top 5 cryptos with multi-bagger potential. What exactly is all that about? Well, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, as we can see right here, a few key highlights, and that is just that. These multi-bagger cryptos can deliver robust profits by 2025. Now, while there is 5 here, like Ethereum, Binance, BNB, and some of these other ones, FTX and so on, for the purposes of this video, we're going to focus on the ones that are ISO 222 compliant. And of course, those two are Ripple XRP and Stellar's XLM. So, a couple key highlights. As some of you guys may know, and some of you may not know, the Ripple network could become the go-to platform for integrating the blockchain with major banks. Top of that, Stellar. Banks could use the Stellar network for currency swaps in the future due to its speed and security. While the two are very, very similar, you gotta look at it from this perspective. Like I pointed out on the live show, the Max and Larry show, Crypto Talk Now. And that is, you go to rent a car. You rent a car from what? Hertz, for instance. You could also rent a car from Enterprise. The point is, they both offer similar utilities, but the point is, it's not just like there's just one place to go get this done. And it's the same thing when it comes to the banking sector. They're going to use different technologies, but they're very similar. They can all bring their own type of thing to these platforms. So going a little bit more further into the actual written articles about some of this are a few of the key highlights. And now some of us already know about this and some of us don't. But there is some cool things to mention, to say the least, when it comes to this. But for one, as we know, XRP is scalable. It's a cryptocurrency with very complex. They're complex in regards to, like it mentions, the algorithm. The most significant advantage of Ripple is that large financial institutions use it, and it could be the go-to cryptocurrency for countries looking to implement central bank digital currencies, aka Cbdcs. And I want us to focus on that, where it says it could be the go-to cryptocurrency for countries. There's actually many countries in which it's going to be the go-to in that regard. On top of that, like it mentions, the latest crypto bull run has already increased the adoption of digital currencies significantly. By 2025, many more institutions will likely accept crypto as a payment method, as we know. On top of that, most countries are already exploring CBDCs. And of course, we're going to jump into that particular section in a bit. And that is going to do what? It's going to allow for the pushing of banks to integrate cryptocurrencies into their services. Why is that? Well, because they want to become, as the saying goes, ISO 222 compliant. And of course, if you're new to all this, I'd advise you to watch some other videos that cover just that. On top of it, it says, this is great news for Ripple since the network already works with multiple banks. Thus, I think XRP will likely deliver robust profits by 2025. Now, you may be thinking, well, especially if you're all new to this, maybe thinking, well, Max, a lot of cryptocurrencies are going to have robust profits in 2025. Why focus on Ripple? Why focus on Stellar XLM? The reason why there's so much focus on it is because between November of 2022, which is right around the corner, by the way, and to that time frame, 2025, many different countries, one in particular, a lot of countries in Europe, for instance, right, have to become ISO 222 compliant, trying to keep up with the technology. And that technology is just that. They're basically going from the old model of an old system that dates back to the 1970s to a new system that can get transactions done 3 to 5, 6 seconds. And on top of that, it's a lot more secure. Think about this from this perspective. You're running a bank. The old system basically takes a full hour in some cases to have, one country to another country. Let's just throw out an example. Germany sending money to the likes of Italy. Let's say it's $5 trillion. How do we know it's $5 trillion? Well, basically, it's just that. You have the likes of what? Swift, who does about $5 trillion in daily volume. It's typical for them to do that. But the point is, that's a big, huge transaction. And while that transaction is going on, that could take an hour. If you're a hacker group, you want to target something like that, right? You want to have plenty of time to do just that, to hack into something like that and try to take any money you can. So it's not just about the speed of the transaction, it's about the security of these transactions. ISO 222 compliant technology, right? Likes of Xrp, Stellar, Quant, some of these other ones, Casper, you heard all of it, or you should have. They basically solve these real world solutions by doing just what? Having a new technology that's more faster and more secure. So my point is this: when you see some of these statements, they basically mean that much sense, and they make sense. So that's how we know about the timeline between November of 2022 to what it mentions by 2025. That's just not just throwing a random year out and just hoping for the best. It adds up. So on top of that, Stellar Xlm is similar to Ripple, as we know. It's back to that like car rental reference, right? But on top of that, it also focuses on introducing the blockchain to day-to-day finance. Also, although Stellar currently works with fewer banks, it can be significantly, it could be a significant project once banks start integrating the blockchain. In addition, the Stellar network is very secure, like we pointed out, and fast, as holders cannot have a balance of less than 1 XLM. In addition, the Stellar network also makes use of its native token, which is XLM, by using it as an intermediary currency for swaps. As well as currency for paying gas fees. Thus, they believe XLM has multi-bagger potential as it can become a mainstream method for currency conversion. So back to this statement up ahead, okay? And that is just that. Like it mentions right here. Most countries are already exploring CBDCs. When we pull up that link, this comes up right here, right? It says the future of money gearing up for central bank digital currency. Now, I'm not going to read all of this verbatim, but there's some few key highlights I want to point out. And that is this. If CBDCs are designed prudently, they can potentially offer more resilience, more safety, greater availability, and lower costs than private forms of digital money. That is clearly the case when compared to unbacked crypto assets that are inherently volatile. And even the better managed and regulated stablecoins may not be quite a match against a stable and well-designed central bank digital currency, aka CBDCs. We know that move towards CBDCs is gaining momentum, and it is really like crazy, driven by the ingenuity of central banks. Now, this key highlight. All told, around 100 countries are exploring CBDCs at one level or another. Some researching, some testing, and a few are already distributing CBDC to the public. So, when we hear these types of things being mentioned, you see things like this. And of course, this is straight from Ripple, right? But why choose Ripple's CBDC platform? Again, they have a lot of different banks in different countries that are already going to be, doing the deals with Ripple. But the point is, it's like trying to pound it home even more if there's some more that basically want to get the likes of Ripple or Stellar and et cetera, to be onboarded. So we see things like this, stability, security, resilience. Says build trust using the Xrp's ledger, proven technology enabling consistent standards, privacy, and security. We always talk about interoperability. We cover Quant, right? Again, interoperability and overlay services connect to domestic payment systems, core ledgers, and other CBDCs to reach new levels of innovation through programmability, support, and smart contracts. When you think of the likes of Xrp, thinking of just that. How is it going to be a top player when it comes to, with what's going on with the CBDCs and so on? It's not that Xrp is replacing Swift, right? It's more like Swift is expanding its technology by using the likes of like Xrp and some of these other ones, right? That obviously makes sense. Of course, there's more about sustainability and so on, and that's great in that regard. But I like this as well. It says how Ripple's CBDC platform works. A lot of times people wonder, like, oh, we heard about the speed, we heard about the likes of, like the security and so on. But check this out. I love these steps that are listed here. So step one, like the onboarding, right? Standard APIs enable integration of the CBDC platform into existing systems. And from there, the minting, right? Banks can use CBDC platforms, cryptographic multi-sign controls to mint CBDCs. And three, the distribution of just that, right? Issuers can directly send CBDCs to authorized accounts, ensuring only valid participants can receive and hold the CBDCs. Then from that, the transactions, right? Transactions settle in 2 to 3 seconds. That's just amazing. Just put a little focus on that. Back to what I was saying earlier, the old system with the current technology of the likes of Swift, right? Nothing against them, right? But even they recognize that they have to, branch out and take some of these newer technology and expand upon that. I think a lot of times people, when they mention Swift, without looking more into it, you hear a lot of the talk of, XRP is replacing Swift. No, XRP is not replacing Swift. Swift is expanding their technology by being adaptive to the likes of XRP and some of these other ones, right? It's basically using their technology. It's not that, Swift is going to go out of business and it's XRP's taking business. So it's just something I want to point out in that regard. But anyway, yeah, step 4, 2 to 3 seconds across many use cases. Interoperability. We always talk about interoperability. Again, just that. Enables cross-asset and cross-border transactions when connected to another CBDC. We always talk about Quant, the whole cross-border transactions. Quant's currently doing that in Latin America. Step 5, redeem. Participants can return funds on the CBDC platform to the issuer in exchange for fiat. People got to be able to cash out at some point. Yeah, cryptocurrency is great, but you still got to be able to cash it out. Can't cash it out, it's worthless. Step 6, destroy. The CBDC platform supports the secure destruction of currency, giving the bank full control over the supply. And of course, there's much more in that regards. But another thing I want to pound home is this, right? The price, right? I picked up a bag of Xrp a few days ago, right? I picked mine up for about roughly 35 cents. I'm recognizing the things I basically see in the market. Yeah, there could be a major crash, but we saw the Fed basically mention the whole thing about going up to 75 basis points, right? And this is roughly like the 4th time they did that within, I don't even know how long that was, but it was the highest increase since 1994, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, we did see a quick relief rally, right? But even right now, we're sitting at 1.08 trillion global market cap. And if anything, I just wanted to prepare because nobody can guess the bottom. I can't. If I could, I'd be a billionaire. I wouldn't even be talking here. Maybe I would. I'm still pretty passionate about talking about stuff like this. But my point is, I wanted to prepare myself, so I made sure I got a bag of XRP. And of course, some people have bigger bags. It ain't about that. The point is taking advantage of some of these prices while they're at. I don't think that after November, we're going to see these prices at that. And if you're again late to the show when it comes to the whole talk of like, what's he talking about in November? Again, it's back to the whole thing of the onboarding of countries are going to become ISO 222 compliant. That basically is going to start in November. If you look at the Target 2 system, again, this is, I know some of this stuff is like might be above your head or you're just not caught up, and that's fine. We all have our different levels of understanding, or not understanding, but like you may be completely new to all this. This might be the first time you ever heard anything like this. I don't know. The point is, yes, it's just that. A lot of central banks are going to, especially in Europe, are going to be moving to the new compliancy, which is called ISO 222. So the point is this, by November, I doubt I'm going to see these prices at 37 cents. I got mine at 35. The point is, you're not going to see these type of prices unless there's a major crash. Again, these things could happen. Don't get me wrong. But I feel as though between November of this year. And then also going forward, you're not going to see these prices of XRP. And on top of that, even before November, let's say the SEC case is over with, right then and there, I mean, I see this, and I'm not the only one, right? See these prices at where they're at. Price XRP could go up to like $1.50, $2 within a blink of an eye when the SEC case is over. And I'll say this on top of it, even if the SEC should win that case, I still feel as though Ripple XRP will be fine because of everything they got going on with the central banks, especially like in Europe and other countries. Just makes sense. We of course talked briefly about the global market cap, right? And knowing that, I mean, XRP, by the way, bypassed Cardano and Binance USD as far as market cap. Okay. Top of that, Stellar sitting at a little under 12 cents, right? Still absolute bargain. I have a bag of Stellar. I paid, I believe I counted in at the 23, 24 cent mark. So this is an absolute buy. I don't think we're going to see these prices. We possibly could. We could probably see it maybe at 10 cents if there was more of a crash. But the point is, after November, I really don't see the prices being where they're at, to say the least. So guys, I'm going to wrap up today's video in regards to some of these ISO 222 compliant tokens / coins, XRP, Stellar, and so on. If anything, if you're new to the whole thing of some of the, I don't know, vocabulary that's thrown around with ISO 222 compliancy and that type of thing, or Cbdcs, I know this could be a lot to take in. For those who are also, the type that have been following this for quite some time, you already get the gist of it. You're already bought into the whole thing. You already understand it. But if anything, I still feel as though that this is the monumental wealth that is just going to be life-changing for so many of us. And so that's why here at Crypto Talk Now, we like to put a lot of emphasis on some of these, and we'll continue to talk about some of these. If you're just tuning in for the first time ever, we cover XRP, XLM. This is probably the first one we did on XLM. XDC quite often, and especially Quant. So if anything, check out some of those videos in the recorded section. You'd be glad that you did. So with that said, everybody, thanks again for watching today's video on XRP and Stellar Lumens. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. You all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.